Hello, hello, hello. I'm the Knitting Fairy Godmother, and you get special glitter stitches, and I get special glitter stitches, and our projects get special glitter stitches. So today, go get your project so that you can knit along while we talk about Ask a Knitting Fairy Godmother today. Today we have a question from last week, a follow-up question about how yarn is put up. And so let's review a little bit from what we talked about last week. When you see yarn like this is a twisted hank, and a hank is how the dyers dye yarn and add color. This particular hank is natural, so there's no color, but the loop is called a hank. That's how the yarn is sold. And the hank is considered 1 unit of measure, so the hank is sold as 1. From this loop, you will make a center pull cake. Remember, we talked about finding the belly button of the yarn, and that's one end, and the other end is on the outside of the cake. So this hank spins down into this cake. Another way that you can purchase yarn is in the bullet skein, and again there's an inside end which you find at the belly button and an outside end that is usually underneath the label. And then we talked about last week how sometimes you'll find a ball of yarn like this that's just wound up. And I want to talk a little bit more about this type of yarn because, advantages and disadvantages. So when you purchase yarn, as the consumer, you have no control over how the yarn is sold. It's more important that you know if you have a hank that needs to be spun down or a skein that you can knit directly from. And the benefits of having a skein versus a ball, that's really where we're going to talk today. Like I said, with the skein, you have 2 ends. You can access the inside end or the outside end. When you have a ball of yarn, you can only access one end at a time. And sometimes you want to knit with both ends, or sometimes you want to pick a color on one end to knit with versus the other end. So it's more versatile if you can knit with more than one end. And I'm going to show you how to make a center pull skein by hand using a cardboard tube. The way that we do that is by taking a ball of yarn and holding the end of the tail in the cardboard tube. And then we're starting to wrap. We're making an X pattern so that the end is caught inside and maintains its position. And then as we wrap the yarn, we're making the X position to make a center pull skein, making sure to keep the yarn tail always in place. And this will keep the ball of yarn neat and tidy. I like to do this type of yarn treatment when I am unraveling something big because it helps me to keep my previously knit but now unwound yarn neat and tidy. And again, I have both ends accessible, and that helps me when I knit. So here we have the tube, and if I slide the yarn ball off of the tube, this is what it looks like. You can see that this is the outside end, and then this is the inside end that's pulled from the inside of the ball. So that's Ask a Knitting Fairy Godmother for today. If you would like to ask a question, I will be happy to answer any knitting questions you have if you comment below or DM me, and I'll answer that question next week. If you would like to see what else I'm up to and get glitter stitches delivered to your inbox, head over to my website, knittingfairygodmother.com, and sign up for my newsletter. Until next week, keep knitting. Bye.